Yes, as Gorazd mentioned, we have some really special guests today. So first is Ms. Petra Stušek, the CEO at Ljubljana Tourism. We have Karmen Novarlič, the head of the Department of Business Communication at the Slovenian Tourist Board, and Fredi Fontanot, acting director at the Slovenian Convention Bureau.
Also, this part today is already 21st edition of Ljubljana Talks, the new format of talk show we developed with Jan during the Corona crisis. So Jan, you can explain more what is Ljubljana Talks about.
Ljubljana Talks is about being able to talk about things related to our industry, not just what is happening in our destination, but internationally as well. And during COVID, we couldn't talk with our friends, so we started this channel. You can find them on YouTube. And it is a way of how to, in a more relaxed way, talk about things that we are thinking about, that we see are stressing our industry and are changing our everyday lives.
We will follow this philosophy today, so feel free to ask anything you want, jump into the discussion, and we will try to open all the secrets about the Slovenian meetings industry today. So I believe it's time for the first question. For our colleague Petra. We will start with Petra.
Okay.
Yes. The first question is actually that this year Conventa is colored in green, as always, as for the last 15 years. But we are also proud on the awards we get at the BIA Award, BIA World for the best sustainable event in the world. Mainly because of the methodology we developed. You can learn more about it if you walk the floor show. We explain everything in details. Part of the story is so-called regenerative concept, but the mother of it is Petra Stušek. So Petra, can you explain to our colleagues what is actually regenerative concept?
Thank you, with pleasure. But first, let me extend a really warm welcome to all of you here in person, in this sunny, in the great sunny Ljubljana, and of course to all in the virtual ground. And a few congratulations in order, definitely for the BEA Award. This is like the proud of all of us. I have to be honest about it. Second of all, for the 15th Conventa, it's quite a legacy that we already paved, and it's also a lot of responsibility for the future times. And last but certainly not least, also congrats to you guys for international, how should I say this, how do you say polnoletnost in English? So that you are actually international adult with Ljubljana Talks.
Anymore.
Yeah.
Okay.
Internationally, you're adults now and responsible for everything with Ljubljana Talks. So yeah, regeneration. This is actually the concept that's now global, but still a little bit unknown. What does it actually mean? It's one step ahead of sustainability, because with, let's say, older patterns, we were doing quite a lot of harm. I'm talking in general to the world, the humans in general. Then we started to be more conscious, and we started first talking and then acting sustainably, which means that we were doing less harm. Consciously, we were doing less harm. And now we're getting really towards the concept global-wise, where we are aware that we are not only responsible to do less harm, but to do no harm and to give benefit to the environment and to the society. And that's also a concept that through tourism and the meetings industry can be adopted widely, because we have really great content. People can listen only through good narratives. It's in human nature. So we have a really good content that the people can actually adopt this way of not only working, but living and thinking. And this is what we are doing here as well. So Conventa is one of the greatest examples of that. First of all, we started to measure what is our footprint in general, footprint and handprint, both. Handprint is the regenerative approach. We started to measure. We know now where we stand, even if it's not the best. This is the lowest point, and from there on we can go only up, because we know what needs to be improved. we are teaching not us locals only, but also our partners and foreign guests who are coming to Slovenia, to Ljubljana, through Conventa about our cultural legacy. This is for the first time ever that we are so much combining, at least on Ljubljana, strategic level, cultural segment with the meetings industry segment. These are all the big steps that we are doing here in practice, and our main goal is that, of course, we do the best practices, and the main goal is we teach them, and our sincere wish is to give this knowledge further so it would spread, because at the end it benefits to all of us. It might sound a little bit philosophical, but it's a simple fact that it's basic truth.
Absolutely agree. Jan.
Very powerful. Karmen, the Slovenian Tourist Board has always been connected with sustainability, with the green story of Slovenia. And Conventa in this regard is a product that is really kind of spearheading the whole trend. How do you see the meaning of Conventa for Slovenia? And as you know, there was the Conventa Green Handbook that was written based on this. How do you see this helping also Slovenian events taking place in the future?
Thank you. So first of all, let me extend also my warm welcome to all of you. It's been really such a pleasure to be for the 15th edition all together. It's really a joy that is bringing Conventa and all the international, I would say, attendees, and really it's such a pleasure to meet. In the winter time, it's the starting, really the big meeting industry, I would say, event in Slovenia. It's really such a pleasure to be back, to be live all together. But coming back to the question, so first of all, of course, it was really for all of us such a marvelous, really award that you were getting, and as Slovenia that we were getting last year within this Green Oscar. And of course, it is important because, as you said, Slovenia is very much devoted to the green and sustainable story, and this is the heart of all our marketing and further development. But it is a proof that we are not just developing green, it's not just that we are promoting green, but that we are acting green. And here comes the action part. Of course, the guidelines and such handbooks, also inside the National Tourist Board, we develop in a manner some guidelines also for the green events, but especially your, I would say, really handbook is showing or helping. It will help all the other stakeholders in Slovenia. I'm talking now for Slovenia. It will help them to develop the green concept in all, I would say, different aspects, because it's really not about the event as itself. It's all the, I would say, micro sites and all the micro parts that we should take into consideration, from the waste to the water, to the transportation, to the promotion, to the locals that we have to involve. So it's really the whole ecosystem that needs to be built before, within the event and after it. And it's a legacy that will be after all of us, to make it short.
Thank you.
Fredi, the Slovenian Convention Bureau was a pioneer of standardizing your members. How can we standardize green events and venues in Slovenia? What is your opinion about that?
Yeah, warm welcome at the beginning, even from my side. So yes, a Slovenian Convention Bureau must be, for the first thing, an example. So we must help our partners to bring those standards in life. So we must educate them. We must try to inform them. We must bring these standards to life. So we are very proud of our green commitment with the label Green and Safe from Slovenian Tourist Board, because it's important that everybody knows that we are one of the safest country in the world, that everybody knows that we are acting, not just talking, active, healthy and green, of course, that we are working a lot on special experiences which can be made on spot, so local experience, and that we want to remain a boutique country per se. So we want to think like specially and to bring people that like special things in our country. So, and of course the Green Handbook. So we're a big fan of the Green Handbook because it helps all of our members in our industry to bring those standards, those things, those tasks in life. We as Convention Bureau, we will include those more and more even green and sustainability tasks in our educational part, and of course in our standardization, because we do research certification of our members every 2 or at least 3 years. So, and this is a process, and of course we must include those issues even in this part of the standardization of the members. So we will go in that way. It's the only way that it's credible and possible. So yeah, we are a big fan of that.
Great. It's been almost 2 years of limitations in organizing events. We've had experiences with hybrid events, hybrid Conventa. Conventa moved to the summer. Now it's back to the winter. And in a way, we can say that the industry is coming back to its old ways. How do you see the comparison with the old and the new? What is it that you see, Petra, as the comparison between now and before?
First of all, this very popular term, new normality, I find it oxymoron, because it's only one normality, the one that takes place at the time and place where we are. I don't think that we've learned enough to change the patterns in our minds enough during the past 2.5 years, in a sense that we would truly make bolder moves towards, now I'm speaking in general, global-wise, and in Europe particularly, bolder moves towards this organic, sustainable growth of tourism in general. We are in the industry quite often back to comparisons to 2019. That should not be the case anymore for really simple reason. 2019 was completely different world. It should never be compared, and we should have learned what did we not do right at the time. We did learn some of the things, however, not in the educational wise. Our KPIs are too often quantitative instead of qualitative. This is the pattern that we still need to improve. However, the path toward digitalization, more use it to the benefit of the industry and of us as a human race. These are the steps that we did with the big moves forward, and we're now learning how to place them in our world to our benefit. That's the key here, to our benefit, not just to introduce digitalization in general because everyone does it, but how to use it to our benefit. So this is, let's say, if you ask me about the comparisons, we did not change enough the patterns in our ways of thinking yet, especially the measurement-wise, the transport-wise. How would we like to fly basically everywhere? How we are not pushing enough to yet on the political level, particularly for the ground transportation to be, trains in particular, to be much more accessible. We're still talking a little bit about the injustice in accessibility, but mostly in the airline lingua. We should be talking more about that in train lingua as well. So these are the things that we still need to change. However, a lot has contributed to the benefits of the humans since pre-COVID times.
Well, I deeply agree with that, Petra. And coming back to the question I would like to ask Karmen, Conventa actually is at this particular moment hybrid, because some of the participants they have meetings online. Yeah? But how do you see, from the point of view of Slovenian Tourist Board, different types we mastered during the Corona crisis? Hybrid, digital, live, metaverse. How does metaverse fits into your philosophy or strategy?
Yeah, so first of all, I would question myself, according to your marvelous book, Power to the Meetings, high tech or high touch. Thank you. We are talking about inclusivity. It was, of course, the pre-pandemic and the pandemic time, and we are somehow in a new era, which will definitely bring together all good things from the past that we will not repeat in the same manner, definitely not, but it's using what the digital is offering. So we are at the moment at the National Tourist Board delivering trust to the digital and to the virtual, to all of the stakeholders, because it's really what this world is creating or has created for us in the past 2, 3, 4 years. It's amazing. It's using the power of those tools within all the funnel process, within the marketing concept, within the promotion, inspiring, engaging participants prior their arrival. It is the measurement that is, of course, it's an added value that this digital world is, of course, helping us. On the other hand, we are in the industry where the human-to-human relation is crucial. Without, I would say, touch, without smell, without feelings, without this kind of events, of course, our industry will not be the same. We have experienced this within the past 2, 3 years. So it's really combining both digital, hybrid, live events all together. And it's also the manner of, I would say, the next KPIs which are coming. It's not just about measurement of economic impacts. It's about using the tools which we are given for measurement of participant satisfaction, about all kind of, I would say, green, or I would say sustainable impact that such events are having, and so on. But to come to the end, it is also changing the way of how we are promoting events, of how we are communicating those events, and the responsibility, I think, it's crucial in the next period which is coming, in the new era which is coming. It's about really making our communication much more responsible in, I would say, whole this ecosystem.
Thank you. This is really so much, right, Fredi? I mean, Petra and Karmen, you really pointed out a lot of things which we perhaps don't think about enough, things that are coming up, things that we know are perhaps wrong. I mean, what do you see, Fredi, as the things that we should keep and what we should really kind of let go?
Okay, so it's always a process, I think. So we always must keep behind us the wrong things, and we must think in the new way, new, more, even more green, more sustainable. But it's our so point of view, so point of living. So we don't want just to talk about it. We want to bring it in life. So, and we must do this. So we have learned even during the COVID times that it's no needed perhaps to be every day in the office. We can work even from home. So we have done something for sustainability. We don't need to stay in the roads with the cars or whatever. So we do this. And of course, some other things. So for the closest country, we go on some events by train. Why not? Before we didn't, we never talked about trains. So, but we use it now. So it's important for us, even especially for our company, like Slovenian Convention Bureau. We must be the example. We must open those tasks, and we must show people, our partners, our members, that it's normal. It's a new normal or whatever. But it's the new way we are doing it. But of course, we need this personal touch, and we don't want to miss it. So we are very happy to see people in live version, to talk with them, to drink and eat with them. So this must remain. So this is an important thing. But of course, some things can be even done, of course, in metaverse or whatever. In others, we must be open to all other possibilities that we have.
In a way, it is special to be here and feel the sun in the middle of, start of February, and everybody here who is here live will remember the sunshine of Ljubljana. Those of you virtually, you do not have that experience, but you still get the knowledge, you still have the access.
Yeah, definitely. Petra, question for you. For those who don't, how many of you knows what is city DNA? How many of you knows what is European Cities Marketing? You know, okay. And Petra is the president of City DNA. This is a new branding of the former ex-ECM, and we are proud on that. And you have a great insight, Petra, into the trends and into the things coming to our industry. How do you see ideal meetings industry, let's say, in New Europe? Because we are using also this New Europe as a regional concept. We are trying to sell on the international market.
Thank you. Yeah, City DNA, or City Destinations Alliance, is actually a non-profit organization of tourism DMOs, convention bureaus, marketing organizations, but we are so much more than marketing already for a while now. So that's what the rebranding happened from ECM, European Cities Marketing. We changed to City DNA because City Destinations Alliance, and the abbreviation City DNA, is actually what this is about, what we are all about. Everyone is deriving from our own DNAs. However, we do have, of course, the association combines many destinations, more than 130 throughout the whole Europe, from bigger ones to smaller ones. Like I said, everyone has its own DNA. However, we do have quite a few things in common. We do have in common the wish to build the world organically, sustainable, to the quality of lives for locals first, and then for visitors. And that's where the meetings industry is thriving towards as well. But not only with the organization, with one even more important thing, with the education through it, because meetings industry is so multifunctional and combining so many different sectors that it educates through this complot of different sectors, people who are employed, media, through media, the local people in general, then the friends and relatives of everyone who works in it. That's how people in general gain understanding what the meetings industry really means. It means employment. It means multicultural exchange. It means reaching the GDP. It means so many different things that on us at the end is only, but only in brackets, to put that in the great narrative, so we can, so everyone could chip in the story and contribute to the basically bettering the world, make the world a better place.
Nice, very nice.
Karmen, the COVID-19 kind of galvanized the meetings industry in Slovenia, and we really saw how broad the ecosystem related to the meetings industry is. How do you see the importance of the industry for tourism and for the general society in Slovenia?
Yeah, of course. It was the time when we suffered all together in terms of the capital and all the major stakeholders which were and which are still, thanks God, part of this meetings industry nowadays. But of course it was and it is still the time when we are remaking, rethinking and restructuring all our marketing altogether. I always say that because I aim to change the game, that we should be game changers. Slovenians are tend to innovate, to be very much authentic, to create new stories and so on. And I think that this power that we have as people working in this tourism industry is really something precious that we have to keep for the further generations. The meetings industry is giving the power to the whole country in terms of its brand awareness. It's helping, of course, through awards and through the concepts like it is Conventa, showing the sustainable manner of how, as I explained, we are developing our story, that we are promoting, that we are acting all green and so on. And it is the responsibility that we are sharing through these kind of events as a community.
I couldn't agree more. I'm speaking past the mic. Thank you.
Well, Fredi, coming to the hard facts and figures and so on and tactics, what shouldn't we overlook in any strategic plan for the meetings industry, not just for Slovenia, for any destination in the world, in your opinion?
Okay. So yeah, it's important. So the first and the magic word is of course sustainability. We must involve it as much as possible, and all the things that are connected with it. I don't know if it's internationally, but we need analysis and development. So we need numbers. We must have some numbers that we have it like systematically. So we must do something about it. And then so we all suffered regarding the employees problems. So we must open our industry and connect it even more with universities, with faculties, and to involve our industry in their program, and to include people coming from there in our processes, in our educational system, in I don't know, to visit like Conventa or whatever. So this connection is must be done as soon as possible. So yeah, I think those are the few things that we must do.
You touched on something very important there, and that is that just like in Ljubljana, just like in Slovenia, just like basically all around the world, we are struggling with finding new people in our industry, attracting the youth to our industry. Petra, what would be your recommendation to someone who is considering or starting in the industry now?
To learn as much as possible, to actually use all the educational programs that are available on the market, but most of all, derive from yourself. Everyone should, not only young people, but young people in particular, should nurture the curiosity and be bold to ask as many questions as possible, because that does take boldness to expose that you're not, that you still lack of knowledge. But don't be afraid, just do it, because that's the only way how to gain new knowledge. None of us were born with it. That's the simple truth. However, also homework needs to be done from our side to put the narrative in a really interesting way to youngsters, so their desire would be really strong to enter the business. We have now the golden opportunity to use the new digital tools to attract them to the industry, give them strong stories where they can recognize how they can chip into the process, what their legacy in the process is. This is to younger generation of utmost importance, their own legacy. If they do not see that, they will be reluctant or will not be willing to enter any kind of process. And with that in mind, we have really great opportunity to talk to youngsters how to start in any industry, not in meetings industry in particular. But this one gives everyone like a really, really strong tool to put their own legacy to their micro world or to the world in general. So it must be done from both sides. Youngsters, be bold, be curious, and nurture that. Us make the sincere story of the importance and all the possibilities that this beautiful industry does offer.
Well, absolutely agree, and let's be a little bit self-critical. If I look around the floor, exhibition floor, there is approximately 400 people. The majority, I can say 80% of X and Y generation. Am I right? So this is a middle generation. Just a few guys here from Z generation. So Karmen, how could we
You're
attract
skipping
those,
on millennials.
those-
You're skipping on millennials.
how can we attract those Z generation people, to our industry and make this industry sexy again, as we said today several times? We are, of course we are. Okay. Good point, yes.
Yeah, of course, the younger generation is crucial, and I would like to share maybe some of the best experiences that we launched, let's say, in the last year and a half as a state, as a National Tourist Board, and this kind of maybe new concepts connected to the metaverse and to the NFTs, blockchain, and so on, are, let's say, triggers. So they're listening, or they're hearing, or they're thinking and acting differently as we used to maybe work, to think, to live. Let's say for us it was, and especially the younger generation, I noticed quite a lot of questions which were coming within the Expo, Dubai last year. We launched as a state the first NFTs. And it was an immediate reaction of the younger generation. What is about? What is going on? Can we get some of them? How we can open the wallet and so on. So we continued in this manner. We launched, let's say, on the Milan exhibition and during the WTM, the first and the second NFTs within the journalists, let's say, and within those NFTs, we are giving exclusivity to just the people that they were getting these NFTs for the unique so-called sensorium adventure that we'll be organizing this year in a green Slovenia. So there are, of course, changes, especially in this metaverse. I was, as a follower and a great follower of the metaverse, I was really watching what was going on. The Davos, they were launching the first international metaverse platform, the so-called international village, international challenge village, and it's the metaverse driving also the whole ecosystem for the next generation, not just in tourism, but in the wider, I would say, industry and in other economic fields. So we have, of course, to take into consideration that also the travelers of tomorrow and the clients of tomorrow will change. So we have to adopt ourselves soon as this is the best, of course, because the time is really critically running, but I'm sure as a very creative generation, I can talk about ourselves, that there will be really great stories of ours which will be delivering in the following years. Thank you.
Fredi, this is a topic that I think we all touch on, and you mentioned it briefly before. As the Slovenian Convention Bureau, you also offer educational contents to your members, and of course you're trying to attract the youth to join in. Could you tell us more about how you do it and what are the values of joining the Slovenian Convention Bureau?
Yes, we will underline all these words that you have already heard. So we will underline. We are very close to the young generation with our industry, I think, because we use the same words. So we want to be innovative, and they want to be innovative. We want to be creative, and they are creative. We want to be. We want to travel, and in our industry, you can travel. You want to communicate a lot. You're having incredible possibilities to communicate in all directions. So our work is to inform them that we are the goal. So we are this industry that they are searching for. So we will include them in our educational programs. So we during the whole year we prepare some educational programs. We will do it this year in like hybrid. So we will attract even youngster, and we will be even more and more connected with directly with the universities, with faculties, with schools, and with some to be there, to be present, to be to promote our beautiful and sexy industry, and to inform them that this is not a work, it's a way of life. So we know that we are all in that. So if they want such a beautiful life that we have, we are here.
Thank you.
Well, we are coming to the end of this Ljubljana Talks, but of course we always finish with some strange questions to our guests. The first one, and you need to answer quickly, Petra, and you need to explain why you think so. Walking or biking?
In the mountains, cycling; in the plain areas, more walking. Because I like to challenge myself, so I have to go up. So that's why I would prefer up cycling. But otherwise, with walking, you do a lot with your whole body for yourself. So it's a tough choice. You're right.
High tech or high touch? This is logical question. Am I right? Okay.
I have to say high tech. I changed quite a lot. The COVID has changed me quite a lot. Because, and why I'm adding now, because I have the high touch in my DNA. So now I have to add, and I'm really quite a big fan, as I said, of the whole metaverse and the blockchain community. So it's really a challenge, and it is really amazing what humans can do also in this virtual world. So yeah, I would say both, but in the last years, high tech.
And Fredi, sea or mountains, because this is logical. He's coming from the
seaside. Yeah. So this is a great question. We from the seaside always preferred mountains. So we like to change the perspective, and we like to go in the mountains to walk, not with bicycles because we are not that that fit. But for now, even a good walk in mountains is a big event.
Well, I guess we are coming towards the conclusion of the Ljubljana Talks, and now is the chance for you here live or online to ask us any questions. Any questions, please?
I'm sure some of the colleagues will have questions here. I'm looking at you, you know, so I expect something.
Sexy questions, you know.
So you always have the Dutch guy that starts with...
Always, always.
Is there virtual guests?
Sorry, no. This is a more difficult question. Will there be a moment that you all together, maybe with the Slovenian government, will be the first country that says you are not allowed to organize an event without our green handbook or green... I'm looking for the word, what's the best... our green...
Standard.
Standard, that's the word, yeah.
Well, good idea. Petra.
It's a question.
Yeah, it's certainly a wish. I would love to be that, but of course it's an ecosystem that we work in, and I cannot speak on behalf of our politics if they are bold enough. But certainly we are, so we would love to go towards that. I can tell you that really sincerely. You want something to add? You are the governmental level.
We are just professionals working, you know, in the tourism field as my colleagues. Yes, but I would repeat myself and I'm sharing totally what Petra said. We are, as a first green country, maybe we have really the right starting, point and all premises for this kind of, next goals.
Yeah, maybe I will say that it will be very nice for us all, I think, that it will come naturally. We don't need a law to do this. We want to educate our partners, all our members, that this is the must. So, and we don't need a law to bring us there, but we must be prepared for this, and we must do this in that way. So I hope that will happen as soon as possible.
In a way, it's a value system. So if the value of the event does not fit to the values of the local community and the destination, I think automatically there is a disconnect in trying to attract an event that doesn't fit into your value system.
It's actually true. It is a value system. I completely agree with that. However, that's my personal opinion. In a perfect world, that would happen. In a perfect world, we would not need the police or arrest or anything. In our world, thank you for this, and I'm going to pursue that.
Is there any more question from the audience? Okay.
Hi, thank you very much. It's lovely to be here, and you have absolutely knocked it on the head when you said at the beginning that this is a green event, but it's in actions as well as what we write and we say. One question I had was, out of everything, what is the next biggest challenge to make sure that everything continues to be green? What is the one thing that's that you have to overcome to continue on this program of sustainability into the future?
If we started with the Conventa, then it's an easy answer. We need to convince 19 partners involved in this project. We are of course convinced here, but we have 19 partners, and some of them are really advanced, some are not so advanced. So basically this educational part is a process, and it will take years. We started in 2009, just to let you know. Out of the metrics we developed, I believe we are on 45%, 3-5, not more, after 14 years. So without the partners, we cannot win this race. Of course, Petra mentioned before, it's not just about air accessibility. That was a Slovenian press conference. It's also about railway system, which is not well developed in our country, and many other things. But of course, we need to touch this 88% of carbon footprint based on the travel of participants coming to Ljubljana. This is our biggest issue. So first of all, we need to touch this part of the story. And then we can move on to the other parts we figured out that they are problematic.
Yeah, I would add, from my perspective, or from our perspective, the biggest challenge really is to measure the right things, the qualitative ones, how to approach that, because it's still, I mean, every destination approaches it differently, which is obviously normal, because everyone has different approaches and different, well, yeah. But, and the second, equally important thing, how to understand this data and put them in action, and teach the partners how to use them and put them in action. So this is like the really next biggest challenge is how to make, we all know about the buzzword dashboard, but what to do with it? That's the real question. So this is the real big challenge that is coming very fast towards us. Or it's actually already here.
Sorry, Karmen. Yeah, and the point, which is the biggest problem, unlimited growth is the problem, actually. So basically we need to face that. We are obsessed with unlimited growth. Every trade show must be bigger and bigger and bigger. Who says that? You know? And Houston, we have a problem. I said that yesterday at the opening speech. I can repeat this again and again. I was born in summer of '69, so almost all my life we are using more resources than we are giving back to the earth. So something is wrong. And my children will ask me, Father, what did you do for the environment in your whole life? So something is wrong with you, with your generation, and so on. So this is what we need to address too. So, and yeah, I want to have some legacy behind. So, yeah, so that was straightforward, no? From my heart to you. Okay. Karmen, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, to continue with the story of Petra, as a National Tourist Board, of course, the sustainable development is the most important one for us, and we, according to the green scheme that we have adopted for years now, we will digitalize it. So we are digitalizing, I would say, all our next projects, big projects. One of it is also a new information system which will be behind and the stakeholders of whole Slovenia could use, and it will be really a very data-driven, I would say, help for all of us to understand about tourism flows real time. So it's really a big ecosystem which we will build in the next year and a half. So looking forward to present you more about it next year within the next Conventa. It will be really a very hard year for us in order to conclude the first and the second step of this important, I would say, digitalized project that we have in mind.
Yeah, I have nothing to add. So I completely agree with colleagues, especially with Petra, because the measurement it's very important, and how to use those numbers. It's the tasks. Yeah.
One more question, okay.
If nobody wants, I'm sorry for not introducing myself. I'm Sjoerd from the Netherlands. I'm not sure if it's a question, but I want to throw it into the group. Big companies, tech companies, whatever their industry is, they want to come over to Slovenia, to Ljubljana. What is their responsibility? It is a question. What is their responsibility? Because they have like the mission and vision statements, and in every first chapter is sustainability. But at the end of the day, they look at the bottom price of the whole project. What is their are we talking to each other within the industry, or is the client already so far that they understand what we and what you guys are doing?
I can give you a very concrete example here. And, you know, we often think about the big corporates as very, you know, as a very special world. But I can give you an example of Microsoft. And Microsoft has decided that by 2030, all the trips that they do and organize will be carbon zero or negative. So what they did is they contacted all of their supply chain, and they demand yearly reports on how much of this move towards the zero has been created, or how they would mitigate the carbon offsetting. So the big corporates are very much online with this, and I can give you an example that this year now, we are working with Microsoft, and they're coming here, and it is the sustainability elements that they're looking for. And this is our advantage in this way, that we have a lot of numbers, we know how to measure things, we have the right, role models, we are using the right ideas, and it is a part of this changing value system, because it should be about trying to find those experiences in a destination. It should not be just as it is everywhere else. They're looking for something different, because the people want experiences. They want to feel that they touch something. And I think also in Ljubljana we have some really good examples of that, on how bringing in the local community to create experiences that you can basically have here with the locals.
Maybe one more thing, which is again based on data. With NGO Monotera, we calculated that we can only reduce the carbon footprint of this event by 40%. So still we will have 60% of carbon footprint, and we can do it by 2045. This is the logical thinking. But then what we developed with Petra is a completely different thinking, and we need to measure also the second part. So all the positive effects, because the other option, which goes many times with the corpus, is that they are just buying carbon footprint. So this is not a greenwashing, of course, it's a noble action, but of course this is the easiest way. So if we learn how to actually measure these positive regenerative effects, then that is missing in our industry. So we need to figure out, and we will figure out definitely here in Ljubljana, what is that and what does it bring to the society, to the nature, and this is really important part of the story. Yeah. This is the sexy part of the story, short.
And I can give you another example of that, actually. You know, we all talk about the carbon emissions and the emissions caused by travel. But as it was said before, we have economic and we have social sustainability that we have to consider as well. So it's not only about the carbon. Right now in Ljubljana, we have 3 large events. So, well, actually it's 4. One has 500 participants, the other one has 200 participants. This one has approximately 300 to 400 participants, and then we have another smaller event with 100. Is there a lot of carbon emissions? Of course there are. But now consider the economic and social impact that these people are causing, the guys behind the mixing table to work. They're making the guys who put up the lights in the Congress Center to work. They're putting in the guides that are now working. The hotels are operating. We are beating seasonality. We are giving people who perhaps otherwise might be, on waiting for work or looking for a job. They have a job right now. And that is very important from the society aspect of what our industry brings. We are mitigating the seasonality that is a huge problem all around.
But I have to also outline my personal feeling, which is that I'm really even happy or grateful that you as a media are asking these questions, because these are the right questions. Because yes, the big corporations are already there, but there are so many smaller businesses that put their own benefits, not even their values, benefits towards in front of everything else. They do not consider the values of the choosing the destination that would be in accordance to their values. They choose the destination which gives them the best. So we still have a lot of work to do, definitely with the precious help of media in the education of so many smaller and small businesses in that path.
Absolutely agree. And yes, we are not killing the industry. That's what I heard several times. We are helping the industry with this whole model, actually. And the industry will be better. That's the reason why we are doing all that. So, yeah. So you can see the show. Of course, it's not carbon neutral. It couldn't be, But we are doing steps towards more sustainable and regenerative event at the end of the day.